good afternoon, and good morning, the rest of the people in the world. So this is Vino from ChainSys. Um, Good to have you for this wonderful session today on the golden data migration uh, from your current SAP and the non-SAP legacy applications to your S4 journey. So this is a quite interesting topic, and we got this with a couple of interesting use cases what we obtained from our recent sessions and the events we participate, and this is one of the most preferred and the interesting topic as well. So happy to have a couple of people whom I can look at here. Happy to be on there. I think there are a few more people are joining in as well. So let's continue with the small pause, and we'll take a minute in between and we'll connect again. All right, so let's get started. So again, this is Vino from ChainSys. Thank you so much for taking your wonderful time this afternoon. Today, the topic we've chosen is a golden data migration approach from your current SAP and non-SAP legacy applications to your SAP S4HANA. So this topic was an interesting one, and we got a couple of inquiries subject to this initiatives which customers wanted to understand our approach towards S4 HANA journey. Joining today, I have Sid Azar, Vice President and Account Manager, who take care of a couple of SAP initiatives, and he's with us to share his experience. And in fact, he also had a oil and gas industry as his domain specific, and he will share his experience on how we could encourage your S4 HANA journey. And followed by, we'll also have a small product discussion, and we'll have Sundhu Rathanam joining us today to brief about our product overview. Right now, I give it back with the presenter, Sid Azar. So, Sid, are you there?
Yes, Vinu, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, folks. Thanks for joining. And I know we want to be respectful of everybody's time. I know some of you joined in our previous sessions on data assessment earlier today, so we thank you for that. And let's quickly move and look at some of the slides, talk a little bit about data migration specific to the expertise that ChainSys brings with its solutions, tool approach, methodologies, and basically business processes that we can accommodate and help you in this journey. So thank you.
Sure. So today we'll have it for a 30-minute slot, and we'll cover up about our ChainSys, our application endpoints, and how we approach towards your S4 HANA journey, and then followed by a product demonstration. Sid?
Thank you, Vinu. I appreciate that. So folks, a little bit about us. I know some of you, as I mentioned, attended our last session, and you've also met us at Sapphire, so I'll keep this brief and concise, and we'll concentrate more on the data migration, the aspects, and the value that ChainSys offers. And then Sundhu Rathanam, our Chief Architect, our CTO, is going to join us, and he's going to do a quick demo to show you all and just kind of do a quick walkthrough through the tool. So we are a 20-plus-year-old company. We're headquartered out of Lansing, Michigan, in the sunny northeast, and our corporate COE and APAC headquarters, the building you see on the left-hand side of the screen, is out of Chennai in India. I want to tell you a little bit about how our journey has been, where we've come from, and where it's all headed. So as I mentioned, we established back in 1998 with global presence, and that's important to stress because we bring a lot of value when we talk about our global presence, because we work with multiple customers who basically operate in their native tongues in different languages, as well as with different applications. So basically different challenges, sometimes specific to their localization aspects, for example, like taxation in Brazil, etc. And we bring those values that we learn from our customers, and we give it to you as a value add toward your success of the project. So we are close to about 1,000 people. We've got 150 plus customers worldwide. At any given point in time, 20 plus engagements. Also specifically, I want to talk a little bit about the process. So as we get into this journey to go through the slides. We'll talk specifically on the process, but also first to touch on the products. We basically have our own J2EE platform that comprises of multiple components. So when you look at multiple components, it's almost like Lego blocks. So we've got the migration piece, we've got the DQM, the app MDM, which is really the master data management, end-to-end master data management. That is ERP agnostic. It works with multiple applications. We've got the ability to connect into multiple applications, and that capability is growing by leaps and bounds, I should say. Every month we're adding something new. And this platform also gives you piece for reconciliation, also around your visualization. So if you want to take data, we offer you the capability of to complete EDM and DQM capabilities, and we can give you data readiness to make you canonical common data models, which you can then ingest in an application layer for visualization, for analytics, and so on and so forth. Of course, we're very active in our partnerships and certification programs. We are an SAP Silver partner. We're very proud to be in that space. And everything you see here today, we're going to be focused on SAP certified solutions. The next one. So here, just at a very high level, what we're going to talk about, the complete end-to-end data migration. So as a subset of that, we'll talk about extraction. We'll talk about what we do with that data once we extract it. We'll talk about consolidation, cleansing, transformation. In a previous session, which some of you attended, we talked specifically about data assessment, profiling. Today, we'll concentrate more on the migration aspect. From a bigger role in the migration space, how do we get this data ready for consumption and loading into S4HANA, how the process works, and instead of typically most of our customers are used to a lift and shift mechanism for moving data. Today, you'll see it's an all-encompassing data migration solution, which comprises not just extraction and loading, but also the DQM capability that's fundamentally tied into this entire equation. So that's what we want to talk about. We'll show you a little bit more details, and of course, how we make it happen. We have these adapters that accelerate the process. So these are basically designed around a data object, and it encompasses the complete flow from the extract all the way to the load. So this is where your standard functionality is all available. Imagine this, that if you run a 100-mile or 100-meter sprint, you already got 60 to 65 meters covered up front. That gives you a heck of a head start. And that's a valuable tool when it comes to migration. And that's what Sundhu is going to show in the demo also, using some of the standard templates to show you the data flow and how it's utilized in the migration piece. We talked a little bit about the application endpoint connectivity. And folks, this is extremely important because what we're enabling today with our tool set is the ability to connect into multiple applications, because you may be today on an SAP environment and you're thinking about going to S4HANA, but tomorrow you might get an acquisition that might be on JD Edwards or Microsoft Dynamics or Oracle EBS on-prem. We have that ability to then extract the data, pull the data in, make you a common data model that then can be ingested and moved into the S4HANA environment. Now, we also talked about the different aspects tied around it, how we can connect. We can use web services, we can use REST, we can use SOAP, we can pick off your files from an FTP location, what have you. So there's so much capability within the tool. We'd love to, please do reach out to us. We'd love to show you more in-depth demos. But today we'll keep the session brief, of course, in respect for the time. Vinu, next one, please. So this is our migration approach. Initially, you identify the source applications. You could have multiple applications. And then we have the extract adapters all ready-made, ready to go. And like I said, they are pre-configured. So there's no programming required. You extract that data into what we call a hub. basically a landing hub where all the raw data extracted sits. Now, typically, if we're bringing in the DQM capabilities, we'll also do a profiling. It's good to do that. And we talked in the last session in great detail about what profiling entails. We're not going to jump into that too much here, but we have the capability of profile your data. This becomes a primary focused area, especially when you have multiple systems coming in. Data coming in from multiple systems is being ingested into this. Once we get your data ready, we'll of course go through multiple iterations of, do I need to harmonize this data? Do I need to dedupe the data? All those quality metrics we assess, we evaluate, we clean, and this is done in conjunction with the users. So the users have an ability, for example, you might be onboarding new master data. That happens often. Or you may be ingesting something new. You might be creating some new master data. And if that's the case, prior to your migration sprint, you have your business involved, you have IT involved, and all this is enabled through the tool set. So you don't have to go in and create something totally new. Once we get the data ready, of course, we'll go through multiple test cycles. We'll stage the data. We'll run pre-validations against the target environment. Now, the importance of that is we clearly define entry and exit criteria from each cycle. So let's say we are in SIT. We'll say going in, we're going in at 65, coming out, we're coming out at 78%. What does that mean? That means the data readiness is such that going in, it was meeting pre-validations against the target at 65%, but coming out of this test cycle, we're at 78. So the idea is to always improve the data quality to get it to where when you actually start loading, when I'm getting to UAT, it's 100%. There's no fallouts. And if there are fallouts, we have the capability within the tool to fix and to rerun that data. So that is, in a nutshell, basically a synopsis how data migration works. Now, one of the things, we talk about, this is specific to advantage of ChainSys, but prior to getting to data readiness, you of course have to go in, you have to cleanse the data, make sure it's ready to be loaded. But one of the big advantages in the migration strategy is multi-domain. So we are, so to say, actually ERP agnostic. So we have adapters for all these different systems, be it major ERPs or even some obscure systems, legacy systems. If it's a legacy system, we can profile your data, we can assess what the data is like, and then even use inbuilt dictionaries that's available within our tool set to say, okay, this is what it maps to. So this is the data that it is. It's, for example, it's material master. We can assess that, tell you what the data is by predictive analysis. And of course, we got 2,000 plus data flows, which is very handy. There's no programming required here, which is a big blessing. It's a drag and drop configuration. And the ability to create common data models. This is extremely important, creation of a common data model. Because once you create a common data model, that's when you have the ability to ingest data in your downstream system for multiple reasons. In this case, we're talking about migration, but we also might be creating EDM quality work where we're cleansing data in data lakes, giving a gold standard data, which then can be ingested and consumed, for example, in a visual layer, in analytics, in the analysis, in different processes. And that's what we do. Now, the dashboard side, also from an audit perspective, we have dashboards and visualization. Now, I know we're short on time, so let me just take 30 seconds to quickly cover this. This is a project that's still ongoing, and it's in multiple phases with Siemens. There's a big data migration that's happening from Oracle EBS as a source, and the target environment is SAP. Now, some of the big challenges here is really the transformation. It's multiple geographies, multiple currencies, and imagine going from one application, which is completely different structurally, and also from a business process point of view. And that business process, that functional knowledge that our team brings in, it's of great value to Siemens, because that's when they say, okay, this business process exists in Oracle, but it's not there in SAP. How do we accommodate it? And this is how the data transformations and help to build the cross-reference tables to make it happen during the migration phase. So those are some of the important things. I know we're pressed for time, so we know let's do this. I know Sundhu is here with us, and let's turn it over to Sundhu, and he can do a quick demo. This slide as well, it talks a little bit about our approach on EDM, basically the ability to ingest data from multiple systems into a data lake, and then what we do, how we cleanse that data, we get it to a shape which is then consumed as a golden layer available, in this case, was available for a visualization layer for management. That was the big use case here. So I think in respect for time, Binu, shall we turn it to
Sure.
Sundhu Rathanam? And Sundhu,
Sure, thank
could
you so much.
please do a quick demo?
Sure, Sid. As soon as I get the screen share.
Yeah, let me give you screen share. Sundhu, you should have the screen share now.
Yeah, I do have. And thank you, everyone. And we have another 12 more minutes. So this is the App Connect system, the ChainSys platform, which is used for it's a multi, it's a hub and spoke system, and you can connect to, multiple source applications and target applications through the connections. If you go to the SAP connections, you're going to see a bunch of S4 and also ECC, and we have even connected to a very old SAP 3.1 or 3 environments even. So we work with the many old legacy applications, and also we work with the very modern new S4 HANA or S4 HANA on the cloud, a Hybris, and very interesting the modern applications as well. So the first thing I want to show you is the data flow. Here I wanted to migrate data from one application to the other application. Let me show you how it is constructed, and then we can run the application as well. So I'm going to take one of these material master, which is always a complicated model. So let me go to the edit. So you can see how it is constructed. So data flow is an object which helps to connect the source application to the target application. In between the source and the target, we can build any number of transformation, the active and passive transformations you can have. So the normalizer, for example, if you want to normalize the data, so in this case, input data comes in one single object. I want to split that into two, and then the mapping against the S4 HANA. So this is a target is S4, and here I'm picking up from the old SAP ECC application here. So if you see the mappings, so all the mappings are shown here, and we have created the standard mapping for any old SAP environment over to the SAP S4 HANA. And also we have these standard mappings readily available for Oracle to SAP, PeopleSoft to SAP, JD Edwards, Mapex. We worked with the BPix software, and many other Microsoft applications. And so we can talk about that. So you can see here the source. I can bring the data in the format of files, or it can be a data object corresponds to, it can be in the form of BAPIs, or it can be OData, or it can be an SQL, or it can be like a stored procedure objects. There's all different options available for you to extract information out of different applications. Even the modern application like web services, everything is supported readily here. And the target application goes, I can pick up any load adapter. So here the adapters are no programming. So these are highly already predefined, and you can extend these adapters through front-end screens. That's how it functions. And these are all the transformation, joiners, normalizer, router. These all helps you to change the structure of the incoming data before it is getting loaded. Okay. So let me run this process, what we have configured here, so you can see how this process execution is going to happen. So the execution is all going to be executed in the background on the App Connect application server. And so it is pretty much highly scalable in terms of, we have processed even more than 1 billion records. So for companies like General Electric, we have processed, more than 1 billion records for just one object. And the total volume of, data migration, if I recall, we've done quite a massive project. Very complex, like Siemens, Caterpillar, Amazon, Expedia. Expedia was very complicated. So here, when you run, these are all the steps it goes through. It is going to extract the data, and it stages in the data mart. And then out of the data mart, the data gets transformed. All the data transformation logical, any logic you can build it. And pre-validation is a very useful thing. You can see on the right-hand side all the results of the pre-validation. So even before any data is loaded into the target application, all the functional and technical validations are happening on top of the data mart. So this gives us a very significant, time reduction, so that you don't need to worry about, what the errors are going to be from SAP S/4HANA. Because you're going to see all those errors right off in the pre-validation stage, and you can correct them through the front-end screens. You can see here, now I got a few errors, invalid purchasing group, for example. So if you see this, I can correct it right here. Okay, so I can make a correction, and I can save it into the data mart right away here, and then perform a revalidate. So you can also do data enrichment if some of the values you want to add something more, and if I want to even do construction, so you can do data construction, data enrichment, or data corrections. All three data manipulations can be performed on top of the data mart. So now even that error has been fixed. So I'm going to go ahead, and one more important thing I just wanted to show you. Let me just take the screen a little bit. So you can see the system is highly transparent. So all the logs, we produce pretty detailed logs for every single activity in terms of how we are extraction, how was the mapping done, the data mart activity, the validation activity, transformations, preload reconciliation. Until now, all of these are done, and the loading activity will be recording every single, what BAP is, how we are executing. Everything is, captured in a very meticulous manner. Okay, so it has a full, confidence, and it is SAP certified, and it is certified for the S/4HANA, and as well for ECC, whichever project, Hybris, and many success factors as well. So depending on what project you are working on, we have adapters, little over 1,000 just for SAP. So which can definitely satisfy your needs when it comes to migrating your data from either older SAP application or any legacy applications over to the SAP S/4HANA. So this tool can make your transition to the S/4HANA journey without much pain. So that is the main, and we have this is a battle-tested product, and this has been used in many Fortune 100 clients. So you can be well assured of your success, and you can see the reconciliation also. Most important thing is when I load the data, I want to make sure the source data exactly processed the way it should. And you can see all the green, and everything is matching perfectly in this scenario. And if something is not matching, it is going to put a mismatches on it. Okay, we have reconciliation on both ends, before loading and after loading as well. Preload, post-load, we can bring in approvals. So, I just wanted to give you guys an excitement of what this tool can do for you. And we would love to hear from you in terms of how ChainSys can help you with the, detailed information about your projects and, how we can assist with our products. And really, really we appreciate everyone joining this webinar. And it's been a great day. And thank you again for your participation. And everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Sundu, thank you very much.
Any questions? A couple of minutes back to you, Sid. If there is any questions, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Venu, are we getting any questions from the audience?
No, that was the previous one. So the question which I was about to get you is, how about your handling the non-SAP applications into within the tool?
Yes, that's actually, Vinu, a great question. We get it all the time from our clients. In fact, we showed very briefly the Siemens example, and there the data is being pulled out from Oracle EBS, and it's moving to SAP. And that's where the value we can bring is not just the technical mappings, but also the differentiation by the process mapping, because the processes functionally are defined differently in both systems, and we have that ability to showcase it for our clients and to kind of engage with them and help them through this journey.
Right. We don't have much questions on that session today, so. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, guys. I think it's really a good, informative one for you all. So I got a couple of things to get you connected back with some follow-ups. I'll reach you back. My name is Vinod from ChainSys. You could look forward to have one more brief discussion on having some of your use cases along with us in taking this demo very specifically to your needs. Thank you so much for taking your time today, and it's really wonderful having our team back for this session. Thank you all, and have a good day.
Thanks. Take care, everybody. And like Vinu said, we'll reach back out to you. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.